Heading into Pokemon Go's second ever World Championships, hosted in Yokohama, Japan, everyone expected to see big calls, epic plays, and crazy comebacks. But no one expected to see a team of only 5 Pokemon? How did a player make it all the way to the World Championships and only register 5 out of their 6 Pokemon? But more importantly, how did they dominate the biggest stage in the world against the best of the best, while playing at a disadvantage the entire time? This is the story of ElChe, the player who defied all odds and shocked the world with his performance. His full trainer name is ElCheasdasd, hailing from Santiago, Chile. Prior to the official championship series, ElChe played in a few grassroots tournaments, but flew under the radar when it came to international recognition. He played in the Latin America International Championships in 2022, finishing with 2 wins and 2 losses before being eliminated. Fast forward to June of 2023, ElChe is battling against some of the best Latin American players in his hometown of Santiago, Chile. ElChe went on a tear in the Santiago Regional, losing only to the eventual champion, Ice Chris. ElChe earned himself a second place finish, which was enough for the World Championship bid. ElChe ended up being one of over 100 competitors on the world stage. However, one little mistake will set ElChe apart from everyone else in Yokohama. While little was known about ElChe, he started off day 1 of the World Championships in fighting form, winning 2-1 against LNDS Oreo and 2-0 against Bosox Sky 7 in the first 2 rounds. Both of these matches were played off-stream. ElChe made his first appearance on-stream in round 3 against Vic Rioja. Both players were undefeated at this point, and that's when the world found out that ElChe had been playing at a disadvantage all day. He only had 5 registered Pokemon. However, ElChe showed 0 signs that he was at a disadvantage, beating Vic Rioja 2-0 on a decisive charge move priority in the final battle.
We erase the Thunderbolt. It's going to come down to charge attack. Priority is so important.
ElChe's going to take it on a 2-0 victory. ElChe from Chile is going to continue his dominance here at World Championships in Yokohama, Japan.
5 Pokemon and it doesn't matter.
This victory concluded ElChe's day 1 run at the World Championships, staying undefeated in the double elimination bracket and was heading into day 2 on the winner's side. ElChe later explained that he had a registration issue when submitting his full roster for the tournament. His 6th Pokemon was supposed to be Umbreon, but since ElChe made the registration mistake himself, the official judges presented him with 2 options: play with only 5 Pokemon for the entire World Championships, or take an automatic round 1 loss and drop down to the loser's bracket. ElChe immediately responded, "I will play with 5 Pokemon." And somehow, he made it work. Going into day 2 of the World Championships, he faced off against Valiant Vish, an Australian player who placed 9th in the World Championships the previous year and didn't lose a single battle going into day 2 at this year's World Championships. ElChe and his 5 Pokemon were about to be tested. Valiant Vish continued his win streak, taking the first game off of ElChe. But this did not discourage ElChe, who handed Valiant Vish his first loss of the tournament in Game 2. And ElChe closed out the series with a win in Game 3, continuing his run after defeating one of the toughest opponents at Yokohama.
ElChe has defeated the undefeated player Vish to move on the winner's side of this bracket.
ElChe entered the top 16 of the bracket as the only remaining Latin American player in the pool. He was still on the winner's side of the bracket, and he was still only running 5 Pokemon. His next opponent would be Inadequance, one of the most consistent players from Europe, never missing a top cut performance in any tournament he participated in this past season. After intense back and forth in Game 1, ElChe closed it out with an incredible undercharge.
And what a undercharge that was. Is he going to perfectly bubble down? I don't know if he has enough time. This Venusaur has to get to his energy.
ElChe outpacing this Venusaur, getting the ice beam. What a play. ElChe does not need a knockdown for the Venusaur. Playing perfectly even after the catch on the play rough from the Galarian Sunfist. That Butters is how you do the perfect undercharge.
Starting off game 2, ElChe made an impressive no-shield call on a Dragon Claw bait from Inadequence, only to be met by Inadequence's own brilliant play. Like game 1, the second game went back and forth between two talented players, but ElChe was not ready for his story to be over.
Is amazing here. Now Inadequence reaching for the blast burn.
Swapping out the blast burn! The knockdown. What a huge catch. ElChe playing out of his mind in this winner's bracket. And here he comes with the psychic outmatch him. 2-0 against Inadequence with only 5 Pokemon.
Ridiculous plays from ElChe to take this series 2-0.
After a 2-0 victory over Inadequence, everyone had their eyes on ElChe, a player very few knew about, who now had to face one of the favorites to win it all, Wadaj. Wadaj had just swept 2 of the largest tournaments to date, which was a historic feat, and was undefeated going into this matchup as well. Unlike ElChe's previous matchups, Wadaj's methodical mid to late game decisions had ElChe countered at every turn. Wadaj didn't give ElChe any openings to make flashy plays, resulting in a 0-2 loss for ElChe, the first series he lost at World Championships. In the losers bracket, ElChe faced off against Chiodo SH01, the last Japanese player in the tournament. In game 1, ElChe made an incredible Hydro Cannon catch on his Azumarill to make the game close despite the tough matchup he was in. Chiodo stayed poised and recognized his win condition rested on the back of his Swampert, allowing him to close out the game, putting ElChe 1 game away from elimination. In game 2, we saw pinnacle performances from both players, with Chiodo using his Registeel to combo play ElChe's Noctowl. But this also created an opening for ElChe to farm down the opposing Registeel to face off against Swampert with more than enough energy to tie up the series. In the decisive third game, Chiodo made a bold decision to lead a team triple weak to Galarian Stunfisk. But with only 5 possible Pokemon for ElChe to choose from, he had a 60% chance of having the Stunfisk in his lineup, and the odds played favorably for ElChe. Recognizing the matchup in front of him, ElChe played a very safe and effective Game 3, coming back from an early series loss to beat Chiodo and make it to the top 4 of World Championships. Entering the losers semifinals, ElChe had to face Rubik's Master, who brought one of the more unique Pokemon to the tournament, Deoxys Defense Form. In fact, Rubik's Master was the only player in the top 24 to bring Deoxys, which proved to be very strong against ElChe's team. One of the best counters to Deoxys is Umbreon, which ElChe unfortunately wasn't able to bring into his matches. Rubik's Master immediately recognized his weakness in ElChe's team and capitalized on it throughout the series. And despite all of ElChe's efforts, Rubik's Master and his Deoxys proved to be too strong to overcome. Rubik's Master won decisively 2-0, ending ElChe's incredible run in Yokohama. Although this might not be the ending ElChe wished for, I don't think anyone, including ElChe, could have predicted the string of wins he would have against the best players in the world after a small registration error. ElChe finished 4th place at World Championships, was the highest ranked non-American finisher, and did all of this with arguably the biggest disadvantage any player could have. It's hard to say if ElChe would have won it all if he had a full team, but I don't think anyone can do what he did with just 5 Pokemon. This is the story of ElChe, the player who defied all odds and changed Pokemon Go history forever.